So here we go, Koopa Troopa Beach. Use the start boost around this corner. Koopa Troopa Beach, lots of sort of uneven ground, but these players, obviously, being as highly skilled as they are, they know the right times to jump and go into the drift to avoid getting caught out by that uneven ground. The most important part for a one-try scenario is probably this tunnel. We see even very high-level players occasionally miss that tunnel. And if you do, you're going to have a very hard time winning the race unless your opponent also misses that tunnel. So we come across the line, Dan ahead by about 0.4. Very solid first lap from him. We're going to see a lot of flashing numbers on Dan's side because he does do these one-try league matches with an empty cart. Looks like Matthias may have missed the MT going into the tunnel. Unfortunately, can't hear both the audios. .3201 again, getting about another 0.4. Dan driving extremely well, gets caught up on the hill just a little bit. Dan coming across the line, and it does look like he's going to take track number 1 for 136.23. Very strong race from Dan. And for the next pick, it's Matthias's pick, and we're going to be going to Banshee Boardwalk. Banshee Boardwalk, a very tight and technical track. A bump on the wall is going to lose you a lot of time, especially to your opponent, who is probably not going to bump the wall in this match. Oh, and Dan immediately on the first turn hits the wall. That is probably the most likely place to bump into the wall, is that first turn. Really just trying to cut it so tight there. So Matthias out to an early lead with that. Both players using the drop shroom as you'd expect. A little harder than the other shroom strat, but for these guys it's just standard. Through the bad house, really important to do some quick and tight empties through that bad house. And same around the last corner, doing that boost turnaround. The last bit of the fence. As we come across, Matthias ahead by about half a second. Yes, both are on POW. Later on in the one-try league, Division 1 is sort of splitting their matches, one POW, one NTSC. So we will see a match on NTSC between these guys. Dan struggling a little bit at the zigzag. Matthias is going to come around, and I would expect he's going to gain time again on lap 2. But very little, only 0.03. It's looking quite synced up on the stream, but Dan did start the track just a little bit before Matthias, so Matthias does have that lead. He's going to come across the line, and Matthias should be taking this one. He does by about 0.25. And for the next race, Dan is taking us to Calamari Desert. Calamari Desert, a track that Dan has been playing recently. Yesterday, in fact, got the world record on the flap. As well, you're going to notice I'm going to, since we can't listen to both drivers at the same time, I'm going to be switching the audio between them each race, just so we can sort of have the focus on one racer or the other with the audio each race. So Calamari Desert, you can see at the beginning of the race, they do those hops through the off-road, which we call hill hops. Shroom through this big off-road section. I suspect these players are going to be doing a 102 shroom strat for the One Try League, because otherwise they would have to do a train gap, which these guys are good at, but I would expect in a One Try League they're not going to go for that. Dan ahead after lap 1 by about 0.4. Ooh, Matthias getting caught up a little bit on those hill hops. Again, Dan's going to gain some time on him there. Bumps the fence a little bit. And yeah, as expected, these players doing a 102 shroom strat to make the trains more agreeable. Dan coming across, saving out half a second on lap 2. So Dan with a big lead. Avoiding the train. Now Matthias will sort of gain a little bit of time back there because he could take that corner tighter. Dan had to swing out wider to avoid the train, but the fact that he was able to take it tighter is because he was behind. And Matthias is going to come, or sorry, Dan's going to come across and take the win on track 3 by about half a second at the end of it. Matthias gaining quite a bit of time on lap 3 there, but not enough to bring it back. And so Matthias for his pick going to Sherbetland. Interesting pick. Both extremely good at this track, obviously. But Dan actually did set the world record. Or maybe did he tie the world record very recently. So you're going to see these players, Dan especially in one tries, really takes these crack jumps very, very risky. Actually goes somewhat conservative on that one, for his standards at least. You're going to see them going through these penguins. The penguins are on cycles, so these guys, knowing their pace, will know where the penguins are on all the laps. The difficulty comes in when, if you do make a mistake, suddenly the penguins are on slightly different cycles than what you're used to, and you have to improvise a little bit on what you're seeing. But both these players with strong laps so far. Ooh, actually, Matthias must have made a mistake somewhere. Losing quite a bit of time on lap 1. Seems like so far Matthias having a bit of a slow start to most of these races, but is really picking it up near the end of the race and trying to claw back the time. So maybe Dan just a little bit more warmed up on a lot of these tracks. see how that if that continues as the match goes on, or if Matthias can pick it up a bit more. And as you can see there, Matthias gains back 0.4, so we're back to a pretty close race. Go through the tunnel. The shroom might decide it. Both going outside the penguin. Pretty clean. Dan looking like he's keeping just a little bit tighter to the wall. And who's going to take it? And Dan does take it by 0.23. So takes control of the set. Just needs one more win to take this set, and he's going to take us to Yoshi Valley. Interesting pick. In a lot of these matches, you see Yoshi Valley as sort of a Hail Mary pick, trying to get your opponent to screw up through the spinies and hoping you go clean to sort of steal a track. But with these guys, it's much more of a traditional pick. They are so clean and consistent that this track becomes a lot less variable than for most of us. So Matthias going for the AB spin. Actually, so did Dan, doing the AB spin start. Saves just a little bit of time. Doing the MT through the spinies, drop MT through those spinies, and clean as can be. Lap 1 is the easiest lap through those spinies though. Both doing the hairpin jump, which is non-shortcut, if anyone's wondering. It does not fall under the definition of shortcut that we use in time trials. So Dan ahead by just 0.07 after lap 1, extremely close race. See how they get through the spinies lap 2. Again, pretty clean. Ooh, Dan actually hitting the fence, has to improvise, but Matthias hits a spiny. Dan is actually going to take the lead through that. So now Matthias pretty much needing Dan to also hit a spiny to be able to catch this up as well. The lap 3 spinies are now going to be not anywhere near where he's expecting. Same with Dan, though, making that mistake on lap 2. I think both players are going to be having to improvise through the spinies lap 3. See Dan going through first. Gets through but hits the fence. So does Matthias. Both getting through, but Matthias went to the inside, so gained a little bit of time. But it's definitely looking like Dan's got a lead that, unless something disastrous happens here, he is going to take the set. And he does indeed. Takes it by almost a second in the end. It is a best of 7 tracks for a set, and the match is best of 5 sets. So it is Matthias's pick first for the second set, as he lost the first set. And we're going to Bowser's Castle. Traditionally, Matthias very strong in Bowser's Castle in 1 tries. So these thwomps, same as Sherbetland, they are on a cycle. Same problem if you make a mistake though, they're going to be off cycle. You see both players going to the left of the first thwomps. And then going right. Pretty standard. stairs, hugely important to get through clean. That U-turn through the courtyard is deceptively important. Getting tight there is going to save you a lot of time. Dan gets a little clip on the inside of the wall. I'm not sure if that saved him the time he was looking for or not. Looked like he might have hit the wall a little too hard, but that's a strat that I'm not exactly clear on. Matthias with the early lead, 0.06 after lap 1. Ooh, Matthias hitting the thwomp. Very rare to see a mistake like that from Matthias on this track. I think maybe he got there a little too quickly even. The thwomp wasn't raised out of his way yet. So lap 3, he's going to have to look at the thwomps and decide where he goes rather than it just being an automatic decision. Going to need Dan to also hit a thwomp at this point. The thwomps are kind to him, very much out of the way, but Dan coming through clean, so very likely he's going to take this track. Dan losing quite a bit of time on that end of the lap there, but he's going to take the track. So Dan coming up to an extremely strong start to this match. Matthias only taking 1 track so far. An unusual thing, usually when we see these two play each other, the matches are extremely fast. Extremely tight, I should say. Yeah, Matthias was actually on too fast of a pace to use his normal strat for the cycles of the thwomps. He could have gone to the inside thwomp if he'd seen it in time, but yeah, just expecting that thwomp to be out of the way. So we're going to Royal Raceway, a track that is a very strong pick for Dan. He has the world record on this track by quite a bit. Yeah, that is worth mentioning. Actually, the use of ghosts is not allowed in the league. But 3 of the tracks, Mario Raceway, Luigi Raceway, and this one, have staff ghosts that the only way to get rid of is to clear your cartridge, which Dan has done for this match. Not for that reason, because staff ghosts are incredibly slow by our standards, so they're really not any use at all. So as we come to the end of lap 1, Dan ahead by just 0.1, so very close after lap 1. Oh, Dan missing his drift there, so Matthias definitely going to gain time from that. Missing a drift is really rough because obviously you're not getting your MT, but it also is just slow in general to do all that turning without drifting and MTing. It's just it loses a surprising amount of time. You wouldn't think so. Dan coming across. Dan actually, even with that mistake, saves 0.2 on that lap. As I said, this track just extremely strong for Dan at this point. He's done a lot of work improving this track. These zippers on the ramp get treated like shrooms, so it is actually faster to drift on them. These players also take the opportunity to MT, which is a pretty standard strat. Dan takes another track. And yeah, your ghosts, you need a memory pack to be able to save ghosts on any of the other tracks. And if you don't have the memory pack plugged in, you just don't have a ghost. So you just don't use ghosts. It's very simple. It's just the staff ghosts don't get wiped, but the staff ghosts are useless. So Matthias now with his next pick, taking us to Moomoo Farm. Random land. Really needing to pick up a win here, so going for Moomoo Farm, a track that he's been playing quite a bit lately. Matthias also extremely consistent on this track historically. Dan missing his drift a little bit on the start boost. Dan does play this track pretty risky. Going through the first group of moles, hits one. We've seen that a lot with him in one tries, him going for that risky strat. Matthias plays this track extremely safe. Goes through, gets consistent. No, the memory pack, it's the rumble pack that's uncomfortable because it sticks out. The memory pack actually sits in flush with the controller, so you don't even notice that it's in. Matthias struggling a little bit, but Dan hitting another mole. So Matthias now just needs to stay safe, and he will take this track easily. And he does with a 128.86. Slow by their standards, but that's what happens when you play the moles safe. You do lose quite a bit of time. But pays off, as you can see. Takes his first track of the set. And Dan's going to take us to Toad's Turnpike. This could be an extremely interesting race. Both these players had quite a battle on this track not too long ago for the world record. But in a previous one-try match, Dan did get a time that just 2 months ago would have been world record. But these two improved the world record past that point since then. Looking like we're getting pretty much exactly a synced start as well, so makes it even more exciting. The person ahead is genuinely ahead. Yeah, if you do !C, it should link my Twitch as well. !R will give you the runners' Twitch accounts. Everyone should go follow these guys. You see both these players being extremely tight on the fence. It's something that you really notice with these guys. in comparison to the lower ranked players, just how tight they stay to the fence on this track, weaving through the cars as well. You can see it looks like Dan might have just a little bit of a lead here. Neither player using a shroom yet. That is pretty standard. You see most of the time these players won't be using a shroom on lap 1. And you see Dan comes across with, oh wow, over half a second. Both players as well taking that shroom inside the bus. That's another strat that you won't see a lot of players of lower rank will avoid doing that in a one-try scenario. But both players getting very close to that truck. The hitboxes on the trucks are a little forgiving, actually. Sort of, if you think about it on a car, the bodywork doesn't really have a hitbox. It's more the frame that has the hitbox, if you were to imagine it was a real car. So Dan, again, lap 2, doing very strong. He has used his second shroom already. Dan now firing off his, so catches up visually. Also catches up a bit of time on that lap. Still behind, though. Needs a very strong lap 3. Matias having to jump out of quite a few drifts, hits the fence. Definitely going to lose him quite a bit of time. You can see Dan coming to that straightaway just a little earlier. It does, even with that fence hit, looks like Matias has gained some time on this lap, though. It might come down to this last shroom, especially since they're both using it through the cars. And Dan is going to take it by 0.17. And yeah, really just lap 1 losing it for Matias there. Faster on lap 2 and 3. So Dan, once again, 1 track away from taking set 2. No, Toast Turnpike is a lap 2 flap. In fact, it's a track where sometimes you can combine lap 3 lap and flap by doing all 3 shrooms on lap 2. So Matias, trying to stay alive in the set, picks Frap Snowland, definitely one of his strongest tracks, especially in a one try. So you have them both A-B spin shrooming through the snow off the start boost. You're going to see both players use this shroom over this big hill. This is where Matias traditionally does have an advantage. He gets a huge bounce off the hill, though. He got caught up at the top. And Dan, with the early lead, you can see these players extremely close to the wall through the canyon, something that definitely you'll see the difference between these players and lower-ranked guys. Dan with a huge lead after lap 1. But that shroom can catch anyone out. We've seen, Matias here. We've seen Dan as well make a mistake on that shroom. And sometimes it can just feel like a bit of luck if you're just slightly off and the shroom doesn't go the way you want. Matias getting caught up on the shroom again. Loses a lot of time. Dan with an absolutely massive lead. Matias essentially needing Dan to hit a snowman at this point. Yes, the people have fallen through the bridge. I would never do that in a one try. I'd never do that if I was like leading a race or anything. Ever. Anyways. Dan with a huge lead, just needs to play it safe on this, goes to the outside of the snowman. And Dan is going to come across and take the set unless he falls through the bridge. He doesn't. So Dan going to take it, takes the second set. And Matthias coming straight out the box with his strongest pick, going straight back to Moomoo Farm. The track pick. The pools that they have for their track picks reset for set 3, so anything they picked before they can pick again now. Matthias going straight back to Moomoo Farm, one of his strongest tracks in this match. So Dan with a huge lead in this set now. Matthias going to need to win 3 sets in a row. So we'll see if Dan plays it risky, goes safer this time. So we'll see what strats he ends up using throughout the race. Both using the same shroom strat. Ooh, Matthias misses the MT at the end of it though. And that's pretty much the difference there. After lap 1. You see Dan gains even more time on lap 2, so Matthias going to need a really strong lap 3 or a mole hit from Dan. And Dan's going to come across, and he does take it by about half a second. So takes it on Matthias's pick. That was a pick I'm sure Matthias was expecting to win. Both though with very nice times, considering they were playing it safe through the moles. Neither player picking a joker yet. Dan taking us to Royal Raceway now. Both starting off with pretty much their strongest picks. But no jokers yet. I would honestly possibly be a bit surprised to see either one of them use a shortcut joker in a situation where it would be significant. I think shortcut joker you might see if we get to a scenario where the match is pretty much wrapped up. The flap joker would be a much more interesting one, I think. Either one of these players could call one at any time. And I'm honestly not sure what they would choose. Both players obviously extremely good at flaps. Dan looking like he had the tighter shroom there, almost hit the fence, almost hit the wall, in fact. But of course, that's what you want, as close to the wall without hitting it. Dan does gain about a quarter second on lap 1. Matthias hits the wall just a little bit, but sometimes that can actually save you a little bit of time, getting a little bit of a clip on that, as long as it doesn't drop your speed too much. The SC and Flap are the Joker picks, so once per match, each player can call one track to be Shortcut, that's SC, or Fast Lap, that's Flap. So they have one of each for the match. Yeah, Dan just playing extremely clean. See, looks like he's going to gain even more time on lap 2. He does half a second or more. Yeah, I see the controller discussion in the chat. It is interesting, the difference between these players. Matthias likes to use a very tight and much less worn stick, but Dan liking a really, really trash loose stick. And you know, if you've ever tried to find N64 controllers online, it is typically easier to find a trash stick than a good stick, so. And yeah, it should be said, Matthias is not playing bad. He's playing really well. Dan is just doing ridiculous. A 251.57. I'm actually going to pull up the chart on that one. So yeah, that's only 0.32 off the world record, which for a one-try league is a bit ridiculous. So we actually are seeing our first Joker pick here. Matthias going with DK Shortcut. Matthias, you would have to say, probably has the advantage on shortcuts. He is much higher ranked, but Dan doesn't really have... I don't even know if Dan has a full shortcut timesheet. So we'll see both players taking their time to line it up. Matthias looking like he's lining it up a bit faster. Didn't get the shortcut though. Dan, I think, might have been a bit too far left on his as well. Matthias using the progress view, Dan not. Matthias goes into the water for the second one, so he hits the shortcut. Okay, no, Dan definitely hit the first one, so he's on to lap 2. Matthias needing Dan to miss one of these shortcuts. Actually, there's only one shortcut left, so he needs him to miss it. He doesn't. He hits it as Matthias hits his. As you can see, if Matthias had hit his first one, it would have been extremely close. But Dan is going to take it. And now Dan also using his shortcut Joker. He's going to take us to Yoshi Valley shortcut with the potential to win the match. Matthias with a bit of a swag ending, knew he lost already. So for potentially the last match, or last track of the match, we have Yoshi Valley shortcut. See, both players just going to drive forward to the spot, I'm guessing, yeah. It's all about who can set it up the fastest, because I would expect both would hit this. Oh, Matthias! Not getting the jump in time. Jumped just a little bit too early. And now Dan just needs to get his 2 clean, and he will win the match. And he does. So he is going to take it. Wow, definitely not what we were expecting from this match. So yeah, Dan really taking a dominant victory, which in the past hasn't been the case with these guys. Usually this has been an extremely tight matchup, and Matthias historically has taken the win between these two. But yeah, Dan taking it 4-1, 4-1, 4-0. So very dominant. Did look like Matthias might have had a little bit of rust, but really it was just Dan playing extremely, extremely well today. So big congrats to him. We are going to see what the next match on SpeedGaming is. I believe we do have more scheduled on SpeedGaming. Yes, we do have one between Schlongster and Mario Pianist, actually tonight at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time on SpeedGaming 2. So that is I believe, Division 3 matchup. So thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully we will see you at that next match, and stay tuned for more Mario Kart 1 Try League.